Yes, sir.
Good evening and welcome to the April 25th meeting of the Aiken City Council. We appreciate everyone being here with us tonight. We're going to call our meeting to order at this time. We will open with our invocation and our pledge. If you're so inclined and would like to, please feel free to rise as we do our invocation. Father, we're thankful for this day and this time. We're thankful for this season. Father, as we enjoy freedoms in this country, we are unfortunately reminded of the evils that are happening around our world. We, at this time, lift up prayers for our fellow men in Ukraine. We just ask that your blessings would be upon those individuals fighting for their freedoms. We thank you, Father, for the city we live in. We thank you for the decorum that we have and the characters that we represent. We just pray, Lord, that you would help us tonight, give us wisdom, that the decisions we make would be pleasing unto you, that everything that is said here tonight would be pleasing and in a manner that represents you in all good ways. Protect those who protect us, our first responders, our public safety, all those who work in the city and do so much and give service to our citizens. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I'd like to ask Chief Barranco if he would to lead us in our pledge. Chief, good evening.
Mayor, Council.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Chief. We'd like to open with our guidelines for our meeting. Our guidelines are for conducting and are designed to have an orderly and informative meeting. First of all comments shall be made to the chair. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes if you wish to comment on one of the topics that we're discussing at that time. Comments must be directed to the topic being discussed. If not, the chair will gavel it out of order. Persons may speak only once about a topic and to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to speak. And we want to thank everyone for helping observe our guidelines so that we can have a meeting that's certainly representative of the city that we live in. And with that, I'd like to recognize our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Waltz, for additions or deletions to the agenda. Good evening,
Good
Mayor Pro
evening.
Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening to everyone who's here. We have one addition to tonight's agenda, and that is to add the consideration of the April 18th minutes for approval tonight.
That'll be added as 1A under the consideration of the 11th. So, all right. With that addition, is there a motion for the agenda?
I so move.
Okay. Councilwoman Diggs made a motion. Councilman Waltz second that. All those in favor of accepting the agenda as presented with that one change, please raise your hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you. We move down to the minutes, or approval of the minutes. They were distributed to council in your package for your review. At this time, I would accept a motion for the approval of the minutes.
I so move, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Broll. Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Price. All those in favor of the minutes as presented, please raise your hand. Okay. And that's unanimous. Thank you. We move down to old business, which is approval of appointments and discussion of appointees to various city boards, commissions, and committees. With that, I'd like to recognize our city manager. So, Mr. Beanbo, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Have the following appointments or reappointments. We have the reappointment of Dr. James Mara to the Energy and Environmental Committee, the reappointment of Courtney Conger to the Equine Committee, the reappointment of John Lamprecht to the Housing Authority, and the appointment of Laura Blessing Thomas to the Design Review Board.
Very good. Those are the appointments we are considering at this time to our boards and commissions and committees. With that, at this time, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Councilman Waltz. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gregory. And all those in favor of the appointments before council this time, please raise your hand. And that's unanimous. Are there any considerations for our next meeting?
Yes, I'd like to move Jerome Ferguson from the Board of Code of Appeals to the Recreation Commission,
Okay, very good. Any other appointments to be considered? All right, thank you. We move at this time down to new business. Item number 1, this is a first reading of an ordinance to rezone property at 2265 Whiskey Road and approve a concept plan by title, an ordinance amending the zoning of real estate located at 2265 Whiskey Road from general business GB to planned commercial PC. Is there a motion?
I so move.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Diggs. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Councilman Girardeau. Comments from staff?
Thank you. The applicant has requested rezoning of a 2-acre parcel at the said address from general business to planned commercial. It was formerly the location of a Golden Corral. The developer is also requesting a concept plan approval to construct an Olive Garden Italian restaurant on the parcel. The existing building would be removed and the lot redeveloped. Since it is a planned commercial zoning request, it requires a concept plan to be reviewed by the Planning Commission and approved by City Council. The concept plan does show that a 7,805 square foot, 235 seat restaurant would be built. Site and landscape plan will provide the required open space amount per the planned commercial use. Planned commercial sites along Whiskey Road also require monument signs. A traffic study is not required since the proposed project will not change existing ingress and egress to the site and will produce similar traffic as the previous land use when it was a Golden Corral. It is within the Whiskey Road overlay, which will require either the installation of sidewalks, street trees, and curb and gutter, or the developer can pay a fee in lieu of that installation. The Planning Commission reviewed this request for rezoning and the concept plan at their April 12th meeting, and all those present unanimously recommended approval with the following conditions I'll read into the record. 1, that the site and landscape plan comply with the open space requirements of the zoning ordinance. Number 2, that the development complies with the landscape and tree protection requirements of the zoning ordinance. 3, that the plan complies with the access management requirements of the zoning ordinance. 4, that the parking area meets the parking design and landscape standards of the zoning ordinance. 5, that a waiver is granted to allow 2 freestanding monument signs and that additional signage comply with the requirements of the zoning ordinance. 6, that the project complies with the requirements of the Whiskey Road Overlay District or a payment in lieu of a fee in lieu of installation be submitted. 7, that a revised concept plan listing conditions of approval and any changes required by City Council be submitted within 180 days. And 8, that the applicant sign an agreement stating the conditions of approval within 180 days. So this is before you tonight for first reading and your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Bindo. Appreciate that. Any comments from the audience? Good evening.
Good evening. Hey, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is John Keene. I'm the applicant. I'm at 4704 Maxey Street, Houston, Texas. City manager pretty much covered what we're looking to do, and I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Okay. At this time, are there any questions for Mr. Keene?
Not a question, just a comment. Got a lot of people looking forward to.
I've heard that.
So right now, you're like probably the most loved person in this room. Just so you know.
Keep bringing the love and vote me.
And we thank you for choosing Aiken.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
I would echo that immensely. That's one of the biggest things I heard when I first ran for office. When y'all gonna get an Olive Garden?
Well, no, Mr. Mayor, it was my turn to be at Planning Commission, and you did a great job and answered all their questions, and I don't think there was much, that had to be adjusted. You came with a very good plan.
Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Keene, thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it.
May I have a question for
Yes,
you?
ma'am.
Thank you for being with us again
No problem.
this evening. Your staff, what do you anticipate your staff is going to be?
Generally, they hire a total of about 120 to 150 people, depending. Your largest shift is going to be on the weekends,
Right.
where you have about 30 to 40 staff at the restaurant at that time.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. All right. Any other comments from the audience? Okay. Comments, questions from council? Okay. Hearing none, on first reading of this ordinance to rezone this property at 2265 Whiskey Road and approve a concept plan, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you. Moving down new business to item number 2. This is a first reading of an ordinance to annex 5.873 acres on Jefferson Davis Highway, zone it planned commercial PC, and approve a concept plan. By title, an ordinance to annex property located at the intersection of Jefferson Davis Highway and Robert M. Bell Parkway, and zone the same plan commercial PC. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman Price made the motion. Councilman Jericho made the second. Comments from staff?
Yes, the applicant is requesting annexation and concept plan of this acreage located at this intersection to propose to build a 5,175 square foot Parker's Kitchen store with multiple fuel pumps under a canopy, a kitchen and indoor seating for 16. The site or the proposed development will occupy approximately 3¼ acres of this 5.873 acre tract, which is the northern, whereas the northern portion of the site, which is a little over 2½ acres, will be an out parcel available for future sale and development. All existing buildings and other construction on that site will be demolished. Access to the development would be right in, right out only on Jefferson Davis Highway, with full access off of Robert M. Bell Parkway with the zoning plan commercial. Since it is planned commercial like our last item, it must have a concept plan reviewed by the Planning Commission and approved by City Council. This property is designated as a commercial property in the future land use section of our comprehensive plan, and it is proposed, this use is compatible with those of nearby properties on Richland Avenue and Robert M. Bell Parkway. The Parker's Kitchen is considered to be a convenience store under our zoning ordinance and is permitted in the planned commercial district. Specific standards for the convenience stores will be met, including the developer proposed 10-foot buffer along the western and northern property lines, and it should correct the current 5-foot planting strip along street frontages, and the open space will be a minimum of 25% as required by the zoning ordinance, 45 parking spaces, 2 monument signs, 1 each at each ingress and egress point. Traffic impact study will be required since the project is proposing generation of more than 100 trips during peak hour. The Planning Commission reviewed this at their April 12th meeting. All those present unanimously voted to approve the annexation and concept plan with the following conditions. 1, that the transfer of ownership occur within 180 days. That's the annexation approval. Then there were 8 concept plan approvals. 1, that the buffers, planting strips, open space, and tree preservation comply with the City of Aiken zoning ordinance. 2, that any future development on the out parcel will require concept plan approval by the City Council. 3, that a waiver is granted for the 36-foot full access driveway, that an access easement is recorded for Parker's Kitchen through the out parcel, and that SCDOT encroachment permits are obtained for both egress and ingress points. 4, that the parking complies with the city's zoning ordinance. 5, that the signage complies with our city zoning ordinance. 6, that a traffic impact study is approved by DOT and our traffic consultant. 7, that the applicant sign an agreement stating conditions of approval within 90 days. And 8, the developer submits a revised concept plan listing conditions of approval within 90 days. And this is before you tonight for first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Beanbell. Any comments from the audience? Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. My name is Daniel Ben Israel. I'm the real estate development manager for the Parker Companies, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have for me.
Very good.
What kind of restaurant is Parker's Kitchen?
So we're a convenience store, or we're food service establishment that sells convenience. And so we have we have a kitchen that provides what we consider southern goodies. Fried chicken, chicken tenders, pork chops, mac and cheese, fried okras. and a whole host of other southern treats.
I have to say, there's one in Walterboro,
Yes.
and I've stopped there many times.
I go
going to
there
the
every other
beach.
week.
Yeah, the bathroom, it's really
Love the place.
very,
Okay.
it's a great place.
Thank you.
Absolutely clean. Actually, the food is very good.
You're already popular here.
That's good, yep. We pride ourselves on delivering fast, fresh, and friendly service. So we're happy to become members of the Aiken community for sure.
And it's certainly good to see that
Welcome.
corner with something in it.
Yeah.
After how
Yeah.
many years?
And I echo what Councilman Broll said. I mean, you guys do a great job. You're one of my regulars.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Well,
I
that-
pass that along to our operations department.
Oh, yeah.
That land has been sitting for years. And so
Eyesore.
we're happy to see someone make great use of it, so.
Absolutely. Well, it's a good find for us, and we're certainly excited about joining the Aiken community. So thank you.
Thank you.
I do think it has been empty since 2009, actually.
Yes.
That's a long time.
Very good. Well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
tonight,
Absolutely.
Daniel.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's empty in the sense that nobody's supposed to be there. That's a building, this is a good deal. I'll finish with the crowd, I guess.
Are there any other comments from the audience? Okay. Comments, questions from council? Mr. Gerardo?
This is great for us. This is not a parcel that's in the city, so it's being annexed into the city. The building is far gone. It's a mess. I've been in there recently. The only bad part is I didn't have anything to do with this in the sale of real estate. But it's great to have it and get the building taken out and put something new there. It's a good location.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Okay. Hearing no other comments, all those in favor of the first reading of an ordinance to annex 5.873 acres on Jefferson Davis Highway and zone it planned commercial and approve a concept plan, please raise your hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you. Item number 3 under new business is a first reading of an ordinance to annex property on University Parkway, zone it single-family attached RSA, and approve a concept plan. By title, an ordinance to annex property located on University Parkway and to zone the same single-family attached RSA. Is there a motion? Councilwoman Gregory. And the motion, is there a second?
I'm going to second that, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Price. Comments from staff?
Thank you. The applicant is requesting annexation of almost 52 and a half acres and concept plan approval for the proposed construction of 160 townhome units in 2 phases. The property is located off of University Parkway and Lincoln Avenue. The proposed zoning is RSA, single family attached. Phase 1 will consist of approximately 84 dwelling units and will have access from University Parkway. With a floodplain and floodway limiting buildable area, Phase 2 will have approximately 76 dwelling units with access from Tennessee Avenue. The 2 phases will not be connected. Each building will have 4 or fewer 2-story dwelling units. All single-family attached developments must meet the requirements of our attached single-family residential projects of the zoning ordinance, which requires submittal of a concept plan be approved by City Council. Staff and the Planning Commission reviewed the various requirements of the zoning ordinance, and city water and sewer specifications must be met, and the existing sewer trunk main will have to be relocated at the developer's expense. The Planning Commission reviewed this request for annexation and concept plan approval at their April 11th meeting. All those present on the Planning Commission unanimously recommended annexation and the concept plan approval with the following conditions: that the driveway length and width requirements are waived, the garage criteria is waived, no building shall be no more than 35 feet tall, 1 lot is removed near the University Parkway entrance to comply with the buffer requirements, the development comply with the tree preservation and landscape requirements of the zoning ordinance. Encroachment permits from DOT and approvals from the City of Aiken are granted before any road construction. a transfer of ownership of the parcel of land for the Tennessee Avenue extension occur within 180 days. Signage comply with the requirements of the zoning ordinance. The applicant sign an agreement stating the conditions of approval within 180 days, and the applicant submit a revised concept plan stating the conditions of approval within 180 days. So this is before you tonight for consideration at first reading, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Beatonville. Any comments from the audience? Good evening.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Mayor,
Sure.
City Councilman, and women. Happy to answer any questions for you.
Sure, and I'm going to ask you if you would, just for a minute's sake, would you state your name and address, please?
Oscar Jesse, address is 5747 Whispering Pines Way, Evans, Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Jesse. Appreciate it.
I'm sort of confused. So this is on Lincoln Avenue or?
Well, it's on the unit, you have
Oh,
two,
okay, behind the county building?
well, you have two entranceways that we
Okay.
wanted to make. The first entranceway will actually come off the University
Okay.
Parkway side. That way, with that entrance, we're looking to have a gated entrance on that, with tennis courts, walking trails, clubhouse, and a few other amenities as well on that entrance. With the Lincoln Avenue side as it is now, it's a dirt road.
Right.
So we divided both parcels up because we don't have a actual date or time in which the county, I believe, is going to pave that road. But if it does come to a situation where it is paved down the road years from now, months from now, then we would like to connect it. But for now, we're leaving it separate with the entrance on the other side or the south side of it coming through Tennessee Avenue.
Okay, so it won't mean any additional traffic on Lincoln then?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tennessee Avenue will help this property to become contiguous to the
Yes, ma'am.
city.
It runs straight into the property there. And we're also acquiring 20 other acres as well to make it an even grander entrance through the Tennessee Avenue location, and just try to bring the property value up of those homes up in that area as well.
Okay.
All right.
It's
How
a
much,
mission. Go ahead.
I'm just concerned about how much area will be a dirt road versus a,
Well, we won't have any areas of the dirt road. The only dirt road right now, as it stands, is that Lincoln Avenue road that runs in the middle.
that's already a dirt road, right?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
and that's county.
And that's the county, and it
Right.
runs between both phase one and phase two. So,
Okay.
you know, those two will be separate with buffers.
Okay.
And this is an area that's been sitting there for a long time, needs
It has.
development. Lincoln needs to be
Definitely.
paved. The county, it's a county road. It's not in the city currently, but it's gonna be annexed in. So this is another good piece. It's a rough piece because your drainage, you gotta work around that drainage at the bottom. That's pretty tough.
And we're working now as well with some state legislators as well to assist us with helping us getting Lincoln Road eventually paved as well to alleviate the trash that's being dumped back
Yes.
there now.
Right.
So, you know, that's mainly the importance
And
of
this will
that.
expedite some of that and get it done, which it needs to have
Yes.
because of the trash dumping that runs all along that, all the way out to Vaucluse Road.
Yeah.
So this is a good thing.
And I have to give credit to our public safety and the sheriff's department. That area, that dirt road,
Yes.
has been patrolled more within the last 6 months
Yes.
than in previous history.
And I noticed it.
Yes. So that's,
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Jesse, thank you for bringing this project to us.
Exactly.
Any other comments from the audience? Any other comments, questions from council? Okay, Hearing none, all those in favor on first reading, please raise your hand. That's unanimous, thank you. We move down to petitions and requests, item number 1. This is approval of a resolution to provide water and sanitary sewer services to the Advanced Manufacturing Collaborative, AMC, on Trolley Line Road by title of resolution authorizing the provision of water and sanitary sewer utility services at property located on Trolley Line Road. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Gregory. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Diggs. Comments from staff?
Thank you. The applicant is requesting city services for the construction of the said development. The request currently is for access to city water directly. They will use water and sewer services through connection points at utilities owned by the university. Since it is an unincorporated area, we can set certain conditions when requesting service. We do have city water service available to the location. However, the size of the tap, hydrant needs, backflow requirements, as well as water sewer connection through university utilities will need to be approved by our city engineer. The Planning Commission discussed this request at their April 12th meeting, and all those present unanimously voted 6-0 to recommend this request be approved with the following conditions: that an executed agreement on the provision of city services listing conditions of approval be recorded within 90 days of approval by City Council at the RMC office. Number 2, that there be a condition that the agreement to annex the property as soon as it becomes contiguous be executed and recorded within 90 days. 3, that the city engineer approve the design of the water service and sanitary sewer service connections. 4, that the site and landscape plan comply with our City of Aiken tree preservation and landscaping regulations. 5, that the signage complies with the City of Aiken zoning ordinance for an office district. And 6, that SCDOT issue an encroachment permit for the proposed driveway on Trolley Line Road. And it is before you tonight as a resolution to provide this service, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Beanbo. Appreciate that. Any comments from the audience? Okay. Comments, questions from council? Say, I know all of City Council will echo this. The AMC has been a major project that a lot of us have worked on, many trips to work with DOE and to bring this as an opportunity for technology transfer from our national lab that we have at the site. Creates great opportunity to spend private sector growth. So we're excited about the opportunity to be a partner in this. With that, I'd look for before us is the approval of a resolution to provide water and sanitary sewer to AMC. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And of course, that's unanimous. Moving down to item number 2 under petitions and requests. This is an approval of bid for city road resurfacing, and I'm going to ask for comments from staff before we take the motion in a second.
Thank you. We do have this bid approval for 2 roads. Again, these are roads owned by the city, and we almost 3/4 of the roads within the city limits are state paved and state maintained. So the 2 roads are Wild Haven, which is from Banks Mill to Cape Fox, and the Deodar Plantation subdivision, and then Burgundy Road in the West Cliff subdivision, which runs from Dibble Road to Normandy Lane. We had one bid in April of 22, $114,510.50, and it is coming out of our regular budget allotment for road maintenance.
Very good. Thank you, sir. With that explanation, I'd look for a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
Councilman Waltz made the motion. Councilwoman Broll made the second. Comments from the audience? Okay. Any comments, questions from council?
I just had one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Beanball, do we have any time frame for these or not?
I would defer to Mr. Prisbilowitz.
Okay. They will start in the next 60 days.
Good job. Thank you.
Be good.
Thank you
Good
so
question.
much.
Any other comments, questions?
Done before the summer.
All right. Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that's unanimous. Item number 3 is approval of capital project sales tax 3 and 4 funds. And again, I'm going to recognize Mr. Beedenbow before we take a motion.
Thank you. We do have expenditure of funds allocated for this infrastructure project. We've identified a responsive contractor to do these projects, estimated to cost about 2.17 million. Water service extension from the frontage road under I-20 to Highway 19 north. Water and sanitary sewer service extensions from Highway 1 north of I-20 across to Shiloh Church Road and Fulmer Road. Sanitary sewer connections from Shaw Industries to our new parallel sanitary sewer line that was completed in 2020. And a sanitary sewer line extension across Deloach Road into Deodar Plantation. $270,000 to come from CPST 3 existing funds, and the balance to come from CPST 4. We bid these projects out as individual projects, and it didn't prove it was not the best cost, so we decided to package them together for some savings in terms of quantity. And we believe we've got a good vendor and the price is good for the work that needs to be done. So it's before council tonight for approval, since it is CPST 4 funding.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Beanbo. With that, I'd look for a motion.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Price. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Councilman Girardeau. Any comments from the audience? Comments, questions from council?
This is exciting. This is water and sewer north of I-20. Been talking about it forever. Glad to see it happen.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you. Item number 4 is approval of a resolution to accept a deed of dedication for streets, water, and sanitary sewer lines and related equipment for Powderhouse Landing Phase 5 by title of resolution authorizing the acceptance of a deed of dedication for road, sanitary sewer, and water facilities in Powderhouse Landing Phase 5 from Powderhouse Development. Is there a motion?
So move, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Broll. Is there a second?
I second.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Diggs. Comments from staff?
Thank you. This deed of dedication is before you for said infrastructure as well as related equipment and easements in Phase 5 of Powderhouse Landing. Our engineering staff reviewed the request and inspected it and recommends acceptance.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Beanbo. Any comments from the audience? Comments, questions from council? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that's unanimous. Thank you. So we move down to information. Anything for issues and updates?
I have nothing to report at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. I would just say that our charrettes and our information sharing meetings that we had on the downtown project was well attended. And certainly I know council were present for one or both and had an opportunity to watch both and heard many good comments. So we want to thank our citizens for that, and I'd like to thank Tim and the staff and the developers who put that together. It was very informative, very comprehensive, and I heard a lot of positive comments about the information being shared in the way it was shared, so thank you for that. With that, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
So
Councilwoman Price made the motion. Councilwoman Gregory seconded. All those in favor, please stand up. We're adjourned.
All right.